Hello ladies and gentlemen, so I have really sweet and awesome news. I have hit level 100 on all my characters. What is that? 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12 classes are in the game, and I got 12 Alliance, all level 100. And I did them all at the invasions this week, basically. So you guys saw me do a video on showing you how to do it. That was my very first time doing it on a new character, and since then I leveled all these characters during that time. Yeah, it took probably like, 10 hours at least per 1 to 100, but it was worth it. And I've got some more tips since then. You can see I'm in Dunmora, I guess it's probably pronounced. I have some advice anyways. One, I would suggest coming here. You can't do it till you are level 10, but if you have a friend that's level whatever, you can... I'm going to type 1 in chat, by the way, and you get auto-invited. Everyone has these add-ons that gets it invited, and you get... The reason you do this, more tagging, basically. So, if you have a friend who's here, anyone, you can basically try to get an invite, and they will let you actually do this below level 10. But if you're not below level 10, if you are below level 10, I don't even think you get instanced with the same people in this area, so you won't be able to say, hey, invite me, because no one will actually hear you or be in an instance themselves. So if you know a friend, a guild member, or somebody who's doing the invasion, you can butt in and say, hey, I'm level 1, invite me so I can, complete this. And you should get to 10 almost in that one invasion, maybe a couple invasions, but it would be really quick. Outside of that, you have to be level 10 to see the invasions, to see the stage, like stage 1, etc., which is fine. So why I recommend Dunmora is simple. It's the easiest one here. The first stage, they spawn from over here to over here, and then the bosses spawn right here, and then the final one right in the middle here. And it's a really easy spot. If you're in a group, you get more tags. You do not lose EXP. Everyone gets the same. You get the same amount of EXP per kill. It's all about tagging. So, for example, I'm max, so I can't show you the experience. But right now, I would be gaining lots and lots of EXP per all these kills because my group has been tagging them, and that's why you join a big group like this. So stage 2 started. The boss here, this guy here, Graham, he's the worst of all. This swinging he does, his whirlwind, is the worst skill possible. People even die in the center of this inn. If I were you, I would recommend being around over here, and that way if he looks like he's getting close, you can walk over here. I've never seen him really go up this far. A lot of people like to drag him and aggro him on purpose sometimes into weird areas, or if they get aggro, they seem to run in the inn first. So just keep that in mind, but you can kill these, I guess you could call them brothers. And when they're dead, the boss will spawn right here in the back here. I guess he's called the commander. I shouldn't say the boss, because I guess in a sense the boss is the final one, but they're all boss mobs anyways. And then here's the commander himself. Now the commander does some cool effects, but as long as you don't get hit by them, I think most of them are, like the ones that you would get hit by would be like AoE related anyways, so you should be pretty safe. And then once he's done, I normally recommend quitting at that point. If you want to do stage 3, I hear Westfall is a bit better, but it's best to have a flying mount, even an epic flying mount, because then you can fly and tag mobs a lot. You'll see most of my groups already leaving, or will leave usually on this stage. Not always, but a lot of times they will. If you do want to do stage 3, this is where you'd log off, by the way. And the nice part of this is all this is at the end. See how my bar is shining here? So all this is the end. But if you want to do it, do it. The bosses will show up. They'll show up as the plates everywhere. If you like to use the vendor, if you're getting too many shards, this character isn't too bad with shards. But if you start hitting 2,000 plus shards, and you should for sure hit 2,000 shards, you should spend it on the vendor, at least so you have about 2,000 when you hit 100. Not only that, all your chests that you receive, I would recommend not touching them at all. Not one bit. Because now when I open them at level 100, they should be instantly leveled to level 700. So there you go, which is level 100 items, which is awesome. So now I'm getting these cool items, and I'm filling in some of this gear, and unfortunately some of them will be repeats. There's nothing you can do about that. That one's a repeat. I think these are all like belts and stuff, right? And wrists, yeah, they're like the smaller items. But guess what? I have filled all these ones in, and then you can go from here, and you can talk to this guy here, and just go ahead and buy your missing pieces. So here it is, the bosses. These are the guys you usually want to tag for this part of the stage, and they show around. If you even see an elite that isn't a boss or a really big guy but has some sort of name, usually they're still worth a decent amount of EXP, worth tagging. We're gonna leave the event now, but like I said, you would have logged off at end of stage 2 when it says stage 3 in the inn, and we'll leave them go. You can see most people left already. That's common. I just want to show you quickly in Ironforge where you go and get your heirlooms. Now you notice I'm wearing cloth heirlooms. They're the actually ones I've only leveled up, and everyone's doing this. You probably see everyone wearing this outfit. It's not really considered cheap or being, you know, a jerk. Everyone is doing the same idea. Basically, if you don't want to level every set of heirlooms, but you're going to level your characters up, it's best to just buy a cloth set, because if you're a tank and a warrior, whatever, you could still wear the exact same cloth set. That way you still get that bonus EXP, and that's a lot of EXP. I mean, it's 10, 20, 30, 40, and then 5. One of them's 5, isn't it? I think, what's 5 on this? Pants? Shoulders? Oh, here it is. Back. It's 5%. So you get 45% EXP. So if you come here to the Hall of Explorers, this is the one you talk to. And this is where you can buy your heirlooms. So you can say Warlocks, or if you're on another class with all your money, you can just say all, and you can go through all these. And then in here, these are the upgrades. So this one's for armor casting. This one is for weapons. You don't need those. You can get them if you want. If you have lots of gold, go for it. But it's too expensive. I mean, all I had to do is buy this one to get it to 90, which I think most of mine was 90 anyways. And then I had to buy these basically 5 times to upgrade it from 90 to 100. So yeah, it cost me 10 grand, 10,000 gold in game, but it was well worth it because it helped me do the following. Level all these characters. Isn't that ridiculous? Look at them all these guys. And okay, so the Paladin, yeah, the Paladin was also leveled there as well, or was at least leveled to 100. So the Demon, the Death Knight, the Demon Hunter, and I guess the Druid was the ones I had originally, right? So basically all these were leveled to 100. Don't ask why I picked Shies again. I wasn't caring at first, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to name them all these crappy elements in No Man's Skies and stuff. I didn't really care. I usually have the worst names, like Shies, for example, and then 10 characters like that sound like that. So I was just like, you know what? I'll give it a better name this time. And I just grabbed all these names instead. So, and if you can believe this, yes, I have a level 100 boost. You're like, why didn't you spend that? Well, why didn't I? Because what happens if down the road, for some reason, somebody wants me to play on another server? Highly doubt I'd leave it. Or if it was a Horde server. Well, now if it was a Horde server, I can easily use that token and be 100 instantly and play with that person if need be. But anyways, guys and girls, I haven't decided what my main class is. I get to be any of the 12 classes now for the launch of Legion, which is coming this Tuesday, probably Monday midnight, right? So you have the weekend to go ahead and use this invasion to level up just a bit more if you really want to. I have the weekend to try to decide my main. I have decided basically these 3 pretty much, maybe 4. So the Death Knight, I like it because, and I'll tell you my reasoning if you like to hear it, and you can close the video if you don't want, but like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. The Death Knight is amazing for me because I'm a solo farmer class kind of person. I like to join groups and stuff, but I do like the farming idea. So I have these probably in roughly about the order that I would play if considering my most likely to my least likely, even though these are probably in the, let's call them the 5% percentile. Paladin I would have higher, but I hear Rep Paladin is a joke right now. So Druid I love because Druid is fast moving. Death Knight used to be a bit faster, but they got rid of a lot of their movement abilities, their passive ones and stuff like that. But Druid moves fast in kitty cat form. In Stealth, you move a little faster. You also have an effect in Stealth, I believe, and non-Stealth as Night Elf. So you have extra effects on that. They move fast. They do okay AoE. They can Stealth, so they can kind of hide around things, skip things. Though skipping isn't really a necessity this day and age. Like, how many times do you really need to stealth and skip everything? Sometimes it's fun while you're leveling up in a cave or something, but there isn't usually too much of a, oh god, I gotta skip half of this content. The level design usually flows enough where you can get to almost where you need to, and when you get there, killing mobs are usually easy. It's not a painful experience. My downsides to Druids is they use leather. I don't know if that's a huge downside, but they use leather. They're a bit weaker in that sense, but they have pretty good self-healing. My biggest issue with Druids is they do use power or whatever. I guess it's called power. And I find that it takes a long time to recharge the power. I find it's one of those classes where sometimes it feels like it's a waiting game, like, oh, let's look at my watch. Oh, yep, still waiting to use that ability, where some other classes have these abilities you can use no matter what. The Frill Druid is one of those ones that you have to sit there and wait to use your cat moves before you can use it again. And that was one of my annoying things. But one of the nice things about the Druid is you can be a tank, you can be a ranged DPS, you can be a melee DPS, and you can be a healer. I never use those ones, unfortunately. I always play the kitty cat DPS, so keep that in mind. The Death Knight I found amazing, but they have gotten rid of some of their abilities, and I don't know if the Shadow one does as much, or not Shadow, Frost does as much DPS. I don't even know if you're even supposed to play Frost DPS anymore, but I used to play Frost DPS anyways back in the day, and I love Frost DPS. Frost DPS to me was cool because you just go in and you kill everything and you kick ass, and you always would heal. You have that one ability that you would hit something with if it was a higher level mob or whatever, like a boss or something, that you can quickly regenerate your health. But overall, it was a powerful badass class. It felt good. You felt strong. You felt like you can steamroll through everything, and even in battlegrounds and PvP, even using your long distance abilities sometimes felt like you're awesome. You're like pew 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 using that frost blow or whatever it was called, and dotting somebody and they run off, and then you see them collapse, and it's just like, yes. Overall it was a fun, powerful, you felt really good about the class. Druid felt more like a weak Cloak and Daggers, and it didn't always feel that way. Demon Hunter, I added this to the list as a very likely one. Now, somebody says Vengeance spec at 110 is completely different what you would feel at 100. At 100, apparently you're missing a lot of your abilities and skills anyways. For me, the reason I wasn't too interested in Demon Hunter was because I felt like it was very weak. When I was fighting, even in Evasions, of course, you're supposed to have a healer at times. When you're fighting a big boss who's an elite at your same level and you get damaged, normally you're in a group and you get healed. But my point was, when I got damaged, I run away, I'd like to heal up. I had no real way to heal up. My best method of healing up was pretty much sitting down and eating food or using a bandage. No, sir. That is not how I want to play. Apparently that doesn't really exist at 110, and they have really good self-healing. They're very mobile. They're very good class for doing like old raids and dungeons and things like that. I have to look into that, and this is the problem about my research. I really don't know much about them, so I'm gonna have to look up some videos and stuff like that. But to me, that sounded really cool. And my fourth choice is Hunter. So this is an example of a character using cloth gear to level, like I said. And the reason I would consider Hunter is because the Hunters are really good at solo leveling, of course, and they're also good at doing dungeons, raids, etc. Their pet, if you need to, even higher level content, their pet actually can tank really decently for the Hunter and be a really good tank for it while it, takes down whatever. Their AoE ability is ridiculous these days. The multi-shot does good amount. I don't know if they have an AoE that hits everything in range, or if it's only AoE abilities that will only hit a certain amount of targets. But, I mean, because multi-shot's only a 1 second cooldown, plus if you have any haste, it would be a lot less. I don't think you would have too much problem, you know, doing an old raid and just like tap, 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 and take everything down. The only thing that I wouldn't want to do is do it while I'm running through the dungeon, because, of course, I would like to keep or loot those creatures and stuff. But that's kind of why I loved the Hunter a lot and enjoyed it back in the day. I guess I could tell you about some other ones. Paladin I always kind of liked. I played the Paladin quite a bit back in the day. The only downside with the Paladin was, as time went on, well, originally Paladins were slow. I had one in vanilla, if you can believe that. They were the slowest things ever. And then over time they got better abilities, but as time went on, it felt like they were trying to bring Paladins back to the old days in a way. I don't know. But Ret Paladin didn't feel powerful anymore, and it felt like, I don't know, at one point it felt too obnoxious, and then at one point they felt like they were just 3 buttons, and I don't know. It just went up and down. Rogues I have never really played. I mean, yeah, sure, these characters are all 100, but the downside is I haven't played them. It gives me opportunity, of course, to look up a guide or something and, you know, learn their rotation and play them on dummies and stuff over time, but I still have never played a rogue to its ability. Most of these I haven't. Monk was one of those classes I thought was really cool. I do like the idea of they have an AoE spin and stuff, and they have some really cool abilities. I actually think Monk I've played in the past, and I got the max level at the whatever content or expansion it was at the time. I guess it was just Kata, right? But anyways, or not Kata, sorry. They didn't have Kata. Mists of Pandaria? Could have been, yeah, what was after Mists of Pandaria? Was it Warlord of Draenor? So it must have been Mists of Pandaria. Anyways, their healing was really cool. I think I actually leveled them fully by healing one time. I think it was the only class I've ever healed all the way to max, and I actually enjoyed it. Tip, by the way, when you're leveling a monk, you get a something to get you back to your little monk class place or whatever. I think it's monks. Either way, I didn't use any of those. I don't know if they'll work for after the expansion, 100+, but remember, when you are leveling, you have those EXP abilities. They're like 50%, 20%, 10. I think they're different amounts, but you could use those while doing these invasions. They probably help you a lot. Warrior, I mean, they're badass. I don't know how well they are for soloing. I don't know how well their healing abilities, things like that. But warriors are pretty cool. They're just, you know, punch in there and kick ass. I always like that. I like that. It reminds me of the Death Knight a lot. I like classes that don't feel like you have to hit 50 buttons, but feel powerful and strong. You just go in there like a cannonball. I think Warrior plays that really well. Shaman, never was big in shamans. I didn't like dealing with totems and things like that. I wasn't really much in the elemental shaman, and then the enhancement shamans in a lot of expansions have been weak, though I think maybe recently they were better. I don't know in this expansion or the last, but I heard one time at least they were getting better. Priests, I don't know what the joke is going on about this, but everyone says if you're going to play a priest, play a shadow priest. I'm not a caster kind of player, which means mage and warlock are not my type of characters. If I were to play, it'd probably be a mage, then maybe a warlock. I don't like dotting at all. This is one of the annoyance things I have about playing my druid, is I'm getting so tired of dotting. The idea of playing a druid is, in Furl Kitty mode, is that you dot things, right? And you keep those up, those rips and stuff like that. And I'm getting tired of dots. I don't want more dots. I want to get away from dots. So Warlock probably would not be the class I would want to play. Though they do sound cool when you can go around in a battleground and go dot 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 dot. I don't know if you can do that in PvE, like say 100, and you're going around and you just dot everything and run into one spot and then they all die. I don't know if they're that badass, or you still have to use some more abilities, but I do like the thought of that anyways. But anyways, I just thought I'd share this with you. I haven't had a video for a while. When Legion comes out, I will be doing a new series, whatever class it is. I probably am going to call it Legion or something like that. I'm probably not going to do anything too special, like, oh, do one for each class or call it per its class. I'll probably just pick my main character and go from that. if I end up making alts and I do something cool, like there's a cinematic for that class hall or something, I might do a video on that, of course. But overall, I think you're going to notice that I'll just pick one, do a series on that, enjoy it, and then, you know, move on or do whatever from there. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or suggestions, please post them. I love reading them. You guys probably know by now I do reply to most comments. And thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys when Legion comes out.